This cop is so corrupt that a character in GTA was made because of him.
Welcome to Crime Scene Cases. Before we begin, drop a comment below with your country and what time it is right now where you're watching. Whether it's sunrise in Nairobi, midnight in New York, afternoon in Canada, or evening in France, I want to know. Don't just sit back, tell me where in the world you are. Now let's dive into the story.
His name is Rafael, and he is about 29 years old when the story starts. He lives and works in Los Angeles. Rafael is the kind of cop who likes to act tough. He loves showing power over people. One day in 1992, he gets a big chance. He applies to join the police anti-gang unit. In this job, he can work undercover and try to catch gang members. Rafael likes this because it gives him even more power. But as time goes on, Rafael and his team become very corrupt. They start breaking rules, doing bad things, and using their jobs to get what they want. They stop acting like real cops and start acting more like the criminals they are supposed to stop. They would find gang members and put drugs on them even if the drugs were not theirs. This way, they had a reason to arrest them. They would also put guns on gang members, so they had a reason to hit them or hurt them. They took money from people they arrested, or sometimes they just stole it without saying anything. Rafael and his team kept doing these bad things for many years, and no one stopped them. But in 1996, they did something even worse. Something very, very bad. Rafael's partner Nino and him is working on a case. One day, Rafael and Nino drive to the apartment of a teenage gang member named Javier. Rafael and Nino have been bothering Javier for a long time. They always pick on him. Today they have nothing else to do, so they go to Javier's home again. They start banging on his door very hard and yelling for him to open it. They demand that Javier let them inside, even though they don't have a real reason to be there. Javier doesn't want to let them in, of course, but Rafael and Nino keep pushing and yelling. After a while, they stop waiting. They just go inside anyway. Right away, they grab Javier and put handcuffs on him. I don't know if Javier said something they didn't like, or if Rafael and Nino were just being mean, but suddenly, they pull out their guns. Then blam, 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 blam. They shoot Javier 4 times. Somehow Javier is still alive, but he is hurt very badly. Rafael and Nino realize they have gone too far, and they know they're in big trouble. They know they did something terrible. They shot a teenager who had no weapon and was handcuffed. So, very quickly, they make a plan. They decide to lie so they look like the heroes. So they fake their story. They said they were inside an empty apartment, watching the area for gang activity. Then they'll claim Javier suddenly broke in and pointed a gun at them. They'll say they had no choice and had to shoot him to protect themselves. And luckily for them, they have a spare gun, a gun that was never registered, which they stole earlier during a drug search. They plan to put this gun next to Javier to make the lie look real. So Nino takes the gun and puts it on the floor right next to Javier. Soon, other police officers arrive. They see Javier lying there, shot and bleeding, with the planted gun beside him. Rafael and Nino tell their fake story, and the other officers believe it. So bam, Javier gets arrested. After this, Javier is charged with many crimes he did not do. The shooting also leaves him paralyzed, which is very sad and unfair. But when Javier goes to court to explain what really happened, nobody believes him. Everyone thinks Rafael and Nino are telling the truth because they are cops. The judge doesn't believe Javier. The jury doesn't believe him. No one believes him at all. But Rafael has no problem standing in court and lying. Nino also has no problem lying in front of everyone. And because they are cops, people think they must be telling the truth. Javier is just a teenage gang member who can't speak good English, so no one listens to him. The jury decides he is guilty, even though he's not. They give him a 23-year prison sentence. Rafael is like a hero. Back at the police station, everyone treated him with respect. They think he protected Nino by shooting Javier. His boss even gives him a special plaque to celebrate the shooting, like he did something brave. It looks like Rafael and his friends in the anti-gang unit will keep getting away with all their corrupt actions. No one is stopping them. No one is questioning them. But then, something crazy happens. Something that starts to break everything open. One day in 1997, a police officer who is not working that day is driving his car. While he's driving, he gets into a shouting match with another man in another car. They start yelling at each other through their windows. Then they stop at a red light, and they keep shouting. The light turns green, and one of the men follows the other. They reach another red light, and the argument starts again. Both men are angry, loud, and not calming down. Suddenly, the off-duty police officer pulls out his pistol and blam! He shoots the other man right through his open window. The man falls and dies almost immediately. The shocking part is that the man who got shot was also an off-duty police officer. They didn't know each other at all. They worked in different divisions of the police department and had never met before. Both were just regular cops who happened to be off-duty that day. Because of the way things looked, people immediately started talking. Some said the shooting must have been racist because the two men were different races. Others weren't sure what really happened. Nobody knew why the officer pulled out his gun, and everyone wanted answers. The news spread fast. People were shocked that two off-duty cops could get into such a deadly fight on the street. Questions started coming up everywhere. Why did the officer shoot? Could this have been avoided? Who would be held responsible? The case made headlines, and the story started to unravel a lot of problems inside the police department that nobody had wanted to see before. In the end, the off-duty officer who fired the shot was investigated. But of course, he was cleared of any wrongdoing. Even so, the shooting makes internal affairs start looking into both officers. It turns out the officer who got shot wasn't exactly clean either. He was a shady, corrupt cop. And he just happened to be friends with Rafael and some of the other bad cops in the anti-gang unit. So, internal affairs quietly begins investigating Rafael and his team. But Rafael and Nino don't seem worried. Maybe they don't even notice. They are still out on the streets, doing terrible things, breaking the rules and taking advantage of people. By this time, Rafael and Nino have gone even further. They are now selling drugs themselves. Often, when they arrest someone, they take the drugs the person has and keep them instead of turning them in. Then, they resell the drugs to make money for themselves. For example, during one drug bust, they find a stash of cocaine along with the dealer's pager. Instead of recording it properly as evidence, they just think, forget it, let's make some money. They take the drugs, sell them, and keep the cash. Rafael, Nino, and the others in the unit are now straight-up criminals, even though they are supposed to be cops. And they keep getting away with it because nobody is stopping them. About a year later, in 1998, this little side business has gone so well that Rafael and Nino decide to take it even further. At the police station, Rafael starts sneaking into the evidence room. He takes cocaine that has been seized and replaces it with biscuit or some other random stuff so no one notices. But eventually, Rafael gets careless. One day, he sneaks 8 pounds of cocaine out of the evidence room. At that time, it's worth more than $1 million. This time, he doesn't even bother replacing it. He just thinks, screw it. Rafael and Nino are now completely ignoring the rules. They aren't even trying to hide what they're doing anymore. Rafael isn't really worried about getting caught. But of course, he does get caught. Remember, Internal Affairs has been quietly watching him for a long time. They've been keeping an eye on everything he's been doing. Then, bam, Rafael is arrested. Here's his mugshot, which is kind of crazy. Now, this is where the story gets really wild. Rafael decides to take a plea deal to get a lighter sentence. He agrees to cooperate with the investigators and rat out his corrupt cop friends. Because of this deal, he only gets 5 years in prison, but he doesn't hold back. He tells on everyone. Not only does he admit to all the bad things he did, but he also names 70 other officers who were involved in corruption. 70 officers, that's a huge number. This one confession starts to tear the police department apart. Rafael also says that 90% of the anti-gang unit often framed innocent people. They would go on the stand and lie just to make sure someone went to prison. When all this information becomes public, people are shocked. More than 200 lawsuits are filed against the city. Not only that, more than 100 convictions are thrown out because of the lies and corruption. All the people who were framed have to be let out of prison, including Javier, the teenager who Rafael and Nino had shot and left paralyzed. After he gets out, Javier sues the city, Rafael, Nino, and the others involved. He wins a settlement of $15 million. Finally, Javier gets some justice, even though he suffered so much.